Okay, so today we're going to do, I guess you people would call it reverse chain rule. I'm calling you you people.
What do you mean?
I'm going to call you like an animal or something?
Yeah, call me that.
What animal would you like to be called? A flamingo? You flamingos would call it reverse chain rule. It's actually called U-Sub, but we'll just kind of review how to do some chain rule here. So how do you do this chain rule? So you take the derivative of the outside. What's the derivative of the outside? I heard somebody say it. So it's 3. The inside stays the same. So it becomes that. Times the derivative of the inside, which is 2x. I'm just going to leave it right there. The next one, number 2. What's the derivative of the outside? 1/2, and the inside stays the same to the negative 1/2 times (10x). What about this one right here? What's the derivative of the outside? What's the derivative of sine? It's cosine. What's the derivative of the inside? 3x squared. Oh, this one's got some things going on here. What's the derivative of the outside? The most outer part. So it's 3. Inside stays the same. Yeah, I heard somebody say sine. Now what's the derivative of the cosine? Times negative sine of 7x minus 3 times what? There's another inner 7. That's a chain and a chain, and that's a big old pain. Yes. Okay, so one thing we're doing today is we're going to do something called U-Substitution for integration, and it's just trying to find, like quote unquote, find the chain rule. You have to find it so that you can actually do the integration. So like for instance, like see this is chain rule, it's just finding the chain rule. So you have to have a little bit of an extra piece out here. It kind of sounds super weird, but I'm just trying to do how the notes are teaching you. I hate the notes. If you're up to me, I would ignore this entire page. Alright, I'm just ignoring it. Stupid. It's so stupid. I'm going to teach you actually how to do math, not how to think about things you'll never have to think about ever again. Okay. I'm just going to walk you through some U-Sub problems, just tell you exactly how to do it, so just pay attention. Because it can get tricky, but once you start to understand it, super simple, okay? So, kind of like the last problem I was talking about, like, hey, there's this little extra piece right here for integration. It's going to really help us out for our U-Sub. So what we need to do is you need to find an inner part, kind of like chain rule, that you need to substitute out. So I'm going to let u equal x squared plus 1. And as you get used to this, you'll easily be able to find these, okay? And then I'm going to take the derivative of this on both sides. So the derivative of u is going to be du dx equals, the derivative of the right side is 2x. And I want to get this, see how I just have a dx right there? I want to change that into a du. So I want to get du by itself. So du is equal to 2x dx. Now, do you see in there anywhere a 2x dx that we can substitute out? That's the whole point of U-Sub, is now we can get rid of this 2x dx. So the 2x dx becomes du. So now this becomes, I'll use a different color. This just becomes du. So I have an integral that becomes du. And what did this x squared plus 1 become? It's u to the 4th. And now this is super simple to integrate, because now we just use the power rule. Okay, walking you through this again, I had to find some u. Now the easy way to find the u is you can real quickly do the derivative in your head and like, oh, does that derivative appear somewhere? Okay, some people when they're first learning it, they want u to be x squared plus 1 all to the 4th. Well, whenever you're finding your u, you usually don't want to do a chain rule inside your u. That's just doing too much. So let's get back to here. So what is the antiderivative of u to the 4th? 1/5 u to the plus c. But wait, I don't have, my question isn't asking u, so I can't have u as my answer. So how can I write this final answer now? You just substitute it back in. So it's going to be 1/5 x squared plus 1 to the 5th plus c. Alright, and that's U-sub. That's like reverse chain rule. I'm going to walk you through this one as well. I'm going to walk you through the first couple. Okay, for number 12. We have to find a u that's going to work for us. Anybody have any ideas now that we've done the first one? X cubed will not work by itself. It needs to be everything underneath it. So it needs to be x cubed plus 1. It needs to be everything. Because if not, then you'd have to do another u sub again. It'd be a double u. And guess what letter I use? I use a w. So what is du over dx? So du equals 3x squared dx. And just telling you right now, the first couple examples, everything's going to work out super nice, like super cookie cutter. These problems were meant to be on your notes types of problems. Because is there a 3x squared dx there? Yes, and that is not always the case. And we'll get to a problem, I think number 14 is a problem where it's not always the case. So this 3x squared dx goes away, and I replace it with a du, and I'm integrating what? I just got rid of the 3x squared dx. Did the square root go away? Did the x cubed plus 1 go away? Yes, and turn into a u. Probably easier to integrate if we just write it as u to the 1/2. So what is the antiderivative of u to the 1/2? So u to the 3/2 multiplied by the reciprocal plus c. I can't have u in my answer, so I need to write this as 2/3 x cubed plus 1 to the 3/2 plus c. And sometimes this stuff is the hardest part is finding out the correct u. Once you get the correct u, you're fine. Okay? More or less, the u is the inner part of the function. The entire inner part. Not just partially the inner part, the entire inner part. Ooh, and we have trig as well. Again, if you're totally lost, just find the most inner function there is. What's the most inner function here on 13? Do you want to try that one out? Do it. Now there are times where you make a u and it doesn't work out. You just need to try a different u, and that's totally okay. Let's see if this one works out. So du dx equals Anybody remember the derivative of tangent of x? Neelish, you got it? So close.
Oh, secant squared.
Yeah, secant squared. So proud of you, Neelish. That's a pity proud, by the way. Is there a secant squared x dx there somewhere? Yeah, how nice is that? These problems are just so convenient. I'll put it that way. They're just so convenient. So I'm going to get integral of u du. Right, because that secant squared x dx went away, turned into du. Tangent x plus 3 turned into a u. And now I need to do the antiderivative of u, which is 1/2 u squared plus c. The answer needs to be plus c. I'm going to walk you through the next one because it's got a little bit different, stuff going on there. I'm going to have you try 15 and 16 on your own because 14's not quite as cookie cutter as the other ones. By cookie cutter, you'll know what I mean after we do this one. Because like the first one's like the du has been an easy replacement, super easy to do. But 14 here, it's got a little bit different, and you'll see in just a second. So for 14, what do you think the u is going to be? Just take a guess. What is it? X squared plus 1. I like it. So what is the derivative now of the x squared? So du equals 2x dx. Oh no. I don't see a 2x dx. Just quit. It's over. Hey, what if I divide that 2 over? Half of du equals x dx. Is there an x dx? Yes, there's an x dx. So that x dx is going to go away. And then we're going to replace it with a 1/2 du. I'm going to put the 1/2 out in front of the integral. Save that for later. And it becomes u to the 4th du. Antiderivative of u to the 4th is 1/5. So 1/2 times 1/5 u to the 5th plus c. So my coefficient is going to be 1/10, not u anymore, but x squared plus 1 to the plus c. Okay, so if you have an extra number there, it's just kind of like chilling, like this one right here, it's 2x, just throw it on the other side. That's it. Other than that, your function should always be on this right-hand side. So give the next two, give it a try, and let's see how you do. And if you're watching the video, please hit pause. Alright, so here are the answers. If you're watching the YouTube video, they just magically appeared. If you didn't know how to do this, Google. Google integral calculator with steps. Alright, we're really just about towards the end of it in terms of me talking. There's really not much more in class practice, which I'll have you do. There are, some U-Sub problems are super necessary. Some of them you can just kind of sort of do in your head a little bit, and I call them baby U-Sub problems. Baby U-Sub do. Okay. So for 17, there's not really another function here. Okay. So our u is going to be very simple. Our u is just going to be the inside of cosine, which is 5x. So du is equal to 5 dx. So we're not getting rid of a function. Okay, do you see a 5 dx here already? Yeah, you already see a 5 dx. So this is just going to be the integral from cosine of u du. And what's the antiderivative of cosine? Positive sign, so it's sine u plus c, so the answer is that's a baby U-sub, just because you really could probably do this one in your head if you had to. When we take the derivative, we just get a constant. That's a baby U-sub problem. Alright, 18. This one's a little bit on the tougher side. I'm going to let you look at it real quick, and we'll talk about it. Give me some ideas of what your U is going to be here. So just give you about a minute here. I don't know if this helps you out, just notationally. If I read it this way, maybe it's easier. I don't know if that kind of helps you out figuring out what your U should be, but that's technically what that is. Alright, let's talk about this a little bit. Jonah, what's your U? So if you let U equals cosine 3x, he's going to work out for us very nicely. Have you actually finished the problem? No? Did anybody else try cosine 3x? It didn't work, right? If you do cosine 3x, you're never going to cancel out the sine 3x. So let's try the other way. Let's try sine 3x. Now, it's really hard to cancel this out because it's being squared. Okay? It's easier to cancel out this cosine 3x because there's a little less going on here. So what is the derivative of sine 3x? So du equals, I'm just using shortcuts, du equals, isn't it just 3 cosine 3x? So it's 3 cosine 3 dx. Is there a 3 over here I can replace this with? No, so I'm just going to make this a 1/3. So this problem turns into a 1/3 integrate u squared du. Looking good. A little better than yours, Jonah, right? A little bit cleaner. Well, it's okay. Part of U-sub is just trying it out. If it doesn't work, no one to abandon ship. Antiderivative of u squared is? 1/3 u to the third plus c. So it's going to be 1/9. Because the other 1/3 is still out in front. And it's going to be sine 3x to the third plus c. Okay, so this is going to happen for the rest of class.